Have you ever felt a sudden, inexplicable sense of urgency, a chilling premonition that the fabric of our seemingly ordered world is growing thin, and that the miraculous is once again breaking into our reality? We live in an age of calculated risk, of algorithms and predictability. Yet every so often, a story emerges that defies all logic, an event so profound, it forces us to confront the limitations of our scientific understanding and look to a different kind of truth, a truth woven into the very heart of sacred scripture and the prophetic messages of the Church. The tale of a child's fall and a stranger's impossible act is not merely a human interest story, it is a sign. It is a whisper from a higher power, a powerful echo of the guardian angels and the divine providence that saints and mystics have spoken of for centuries. In a world that seeks to explain away everything, this event serves as a jolt, a reminder that the celestial war spoken of by Saint Michael is very much alive, and that the forces of good are still at play, intervening in our lives in ways we cannot see, cannot measure, but can only receive with awe and profound faith. We, as pilgrims of these latter days, are called not to rationalize these signs away, but to read them, to understand their spiritual significance, and to recognize that they are not random occurrences, but breadcrumbs on a path toward a greater revelation. This is a journey of the soul, a deep dive into the signs of the times, guided not by fear, but by the light of our Catholic faith. To understand what such a sign means for our own spiritual lives and for the state of the world as we know it. The very first words of the book of Daniel. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem and besieged it. Establish a crucial principle. God's hand is at work even in the midst of worldly conflict and human suffering. This principle that the divine is a participant in our history is the foundation of our faith. It is in the midst of turmoil, a besieged city, a world turning its back on God, that the Lord raises up his prophets, his saints, and his angels. Daniel himself, a man of profound prayer and prophetic vision, teaches us to look beyond the immediate circumstances and to see the spiritual war being waged behind the scenes. He saw visions of beasts and kingdoms, not as mere political empires, but as manifestations of spiritual powers in conflict. He understood that the fate of nations and the lives of individuals were, in the ultimate sense, determined by a heavenly drama. So when we hear of a seemingly miraculous event in our own time, a child's life saved in an impossible way, we must not dismiss it as a coincidence. It is an invitation to see with the eyes of Daniel, to recognize that the veil between heaven and earth is sometimes drawn back, revealing the swift intervention of God's instruments. This biblical foundation is echoed and elaborated upon by the great doctors of the Church. St. Thomas Aquinas, in his Summa Theologica, dedicates an entire section to the nature of angels. He explains that angels are pure spirits created by God, and their primary purpose is to serve Him, to be His messengers and agents in the world. They are, he writes, ministering spirits, sent forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation. The stranger who catches the child and then vanishes, is he not a vivid living testament to this very truth? Aquinas would not be surprised. He would see it as a beautiful and powerful confirmation of what the Church has always taught. He would argue that while we cannot prove the existence of angels in a laboratory, their effects, their swift and unseen actions, are the very proof of their presence. They are not fictions of a bygone age, but real active participants in the drama of human salvation. St. Augustine, in his City of God, speaks of the unseen battle between the city of God and the city of man. This miraculous rescue, he would say, is a moment where the city of God asserts its power, where the unseen order triumphs over the chaos of this world. It is a moment of divine grace breaking through the human condition, a sign given to us to remind us that we are not alone and that the powers of darkness are not the final word. The warnings of the Blessed Mother at La Salette and Fatima provide a crucial prophetic context for these modern signs. At La Salette, Our Lady wept, speaking of the evils of the world and the coming apostasy, warning that demons of the abyss would be unchained. This is not an abstract concept. It is a reality we see unfolding in the widespread loss of faith, the rejection of divine law, and the normalization of sin. In such a climate, where the natural order is under attack, one might expect to see a corresponding increase in supernatural interventions, both good and evil. The miraculous rescue of the child could be seen as an act of grace in a time of great peril, a demonstration of God's mercy, despite man's rebellion. At Fatima, Our Lady spoke of a different but related battle, the triumph of her Immaculate Heart. She gave us the tools for victory, the rosary, penance, and consecration. The stranger's action is an echo of this promise. It is an act of divine mercy, a glimmer of the final triumph. It shows us that while the powers of darkness may be unleashed, the forces of heaven are equally at work, and the final victory belongs to Christ. The stranger who vanishes is not a mere hero. He is a herald of hope, a sign that the celestial forces are actively engaged in the struggle for our souls. The very swiftness and unearthly quality of the act mirrors the supernatural swiftness of the angelic realm, reminding us that there is a plane of existence that operates according to a different set of laws, the laws of grace and divine will. When we connect these prophetic warnings to the state of the world today, the picture becomes clearer. We live in an age of profound spiritual desolation. The faith is under attack from within and without. We see a moral relativism that rejects objective truth, a culture that celebrates what is evil and condemns what is good, and a profound crisis in the family and the church itself. These are not coincidental phenomena. They are the fulfillment of prophecies given to us centuries ago. The collapse of the family, the assault on the sanctity of life, the widespread sacrilege and indifference to the Eucharist, all of these signs point to a world teetering on the brink, and it is precisely in such a time that God sends signs of His presence. The miraculous rescue of a child is a divine counterpunch to the darkness. It is an act of mercy designed to shake the complacent, to awaken the lukewarm, and to give hope to the faithful. It is a reminder that even when all seems lost, God's providence is at work, and His angels are ready to act on our behalf. The absence of a logical explanation, the abruptness of the event, and the vanishing of the stranger are all part of the sign. They are meant to force us to look beyond the secular, to embrace the spiritual, and to recognize that our world is far more complex and mysterious than we often assume. So, what then is our spiritual response to such a sign? The answer lies not in fear or speculation, but in a deeper commitment to our Catholic faith. If we believe in the reality of angels and divine intervention, then our lives must reflect that belief. This means a renewed commitment to prayer, particularly the Rosary, which St. Louis de Montfort called the most powerful weapon against the devil. We must avail ourselves of the sacraments, especially the Eucharist and confession. The Eucharist is our spiritual food, the very body and blood of Christ, which strengthens us for the battle. Confession is our spiritual cleanse, a means of casting off the weight of sin and reconnecting with God's grace. We must also seek refuge in the Immaculate Heart of Mary, consecrating ourselves to her. The Blessed Mother is our spiritual mother and our greatest ally in the spiritual war. As the Mother of God, she has been given a special role in crushing the head of the serpent. The stranger who caught the child is a powerful image of the unseen protection that Our Lady and her angels provide. He is a testament to the reality of divine mercy and a symbol of the hope we must cling to in these difficult times. The story of the child's fall and the stranger's impossible act is a message. It is not an invitation to panic, but an urgent call to vigilance and spiritual preparedness. It is a sign that the time is short and the battle is real, but that God is with us, and the victory belongs to Him. If this reflection has stirred your heart and fortified your faith, please subscribe to this channel so that we may continue this shared pilgrimage through the signs of the times. May our community grow in prayer and vigilance. Share this message with your loved ones, with those you hold dear, because in these times, sharing the truth is one of the greatest acts of mercy. May God bless you, and the Immaculate Heart of Mary protect you. Remain with God.